This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Nightbloom Vodka. Nightbloom is an American made craft vodka of the highest standard. Nightbloom offers a diverse range of extraordinary blends using artisanal ingredients to create a truly unique taste of vodka. Check out their three main vodka lines: Nightbloom N1, N2, and N3, all curated for different taste buds. Make sure to grab yourself a bottle of Nightbloom before your next pay per view watch at nightbloomspirits.com. We'll link them below in our bio as well. Shout out to Nightbloom. Welcome back, everybody, to the Word Around the Ring podcast. My name is Big Rob, and I'll let my tag team partner reintroduce himself.
I'm King Jess, and we're the only podcast with less injuries than Dakota Kai. Royal Rumble is this Saturday, so you know
Crazy.
what that means. Five, four, three, two, one. What's when the word around the ring, Rob?
Well, first off, I want to wish Dakota Kai a speedy recovery. I think it was a concussion. I was hoping to see her in the Women's Royal Rumble, and I still hope she makes it to this year's Royal Rumble. She's great. I'm a fan. Just had to say that. Had to have that side note there. It's been a busy couple weeks. We are now a few days away from this year's Royal Rumble, that which will be taking place in Indianapolis, if I am not mistaken. Looking to be a fantastic, fun event. A lot of superstars have already made their announcement that they will be entering the Royal Rumble match. So we're going to get into that in a little bit, which I'm excited to talk about because it is going to be filled with a bunch of different superstars. A lot of different possibilities can come out of this year's Royal Rumble, and I'm looking forward to WrestleMania season. But last weekend we did have what is sort of a semi pay-per-view, but the fans are calling it a glorified house show with the way some of these outcomes in these matches have been taking place. And really just being, I don't know if still is the right word, but the last two Saturday nights main event, there hasn't been any too many crazy changes or happenings. They've been fun shows. Don't get me wrong, I have enjoyed them. They have been fun to watch. But in terms of championship matches, and along those lines, no titles have changed yet. We'll see maybe in the third Saturday night main event, we'll get a title change if we have any title matches. That's, of course, going to be a while from now. But wanted to start off by talking about this last Saturday night's main event, which took place in San Antonio, Texas, the hometown of Shawn Michaels. So we actually got to see Shawn as well. We'll get into that in a little bit. But the first match of the night was Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax for the Women's World Championship. Before I get into the match, I want to ask you, how were you feeling to start this last weekend Saturday night's main event? Were you excited for it with the match card that they had ahead?
I think I'm with the others in the sentiment that this might be just a little bit of a glorified house show, just because, like you said, not much has changed during these, but I still enjoyed them. The card on this one was actually kind of decent. I wouldn't say I was super excited for any of these matches, but I knew that none of these matches were going to be bad matches. The only thing on this show that I had a problem with was going into this is Cody and KO doing their contract signing. I feel like something like that should have been kept to SmackDown before the Rumble, especially the way it ended, because that would have been more meaningful leading into the pay per view. Now you gave it time to sizzle. Now that same heat doesn't kind of transfer towards the match that you would have had when you had it on SmackDown, but it's still going to be a great match regardless at the end of the night. But yeah, that going into it, none of these matches were super like over the top or anything like that. But I didn't expect any of these matches to be bad.
Definitely. The first match, of course, was Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. We've already seen this match at last year's Elimination Chamber. I remember this being like one of Nia Jax's best matches, and of course, Rhea Ripley had to play a factor in that, and I think she played a factor in this as well. I actually kind of really enjoyed this match. I thought it was a great way to start off the show. Rhea Ripley had a lot. She actually Her arsenal in this match was kind of crazy. To start the match, she hit a Hurricane Rana on Nia Jax and a cannonball off the apron to the outside of the ring. Um, but of course, Nia Jax is powerful. They're going to give her some heat there. She was taking over and had the momentum with a few Samoan drops. Rhea, of course, as the face, is going to fight back at some of her offense, and she was able to recover with a few moves, such as a Code Red. But Nia Jax There was a point in the match where she went up to the second rope and hit a leg drop on Rhea, and I was a little nervous. She went for the pin there. That's a big leg drop from the second rope. She went for the pin, but Rhea kicked out. Nia continued to have the momentum as the match moved forward. There was a point where Nia Jackson went for an annihilator, but Rhea swooped her legs and went for a figure four leg lock, which I haven't seen in a while. I also made note of that because we already know Charlotte Flair is going to be returning to this year's Royal Rumble. So maybe Rhea took note of that and decided to use that submission move there. She hit that on Nia Jax, but Nia, of course, was able to break out. Then the match really just headed over into the final few phases where Nia Jax was going for a few of her finishers, but Rhea was able to move out of the way. And she hit her Riptide on Nia Jax and won the match. And I believe that was her first title defense as the new Women's World Champion since she won it from Liv Morgan on Monday Night Raw, the premiere on Netflix. But with that being said, a quick synopsis of the match there. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Want to get your thoughts on the match overall in general? Anything that stood out to you while you were watching this one in particular?
No, like I said, I think none of these matches were destined to be bad matches. They were going to be solid matches. I just didn't think there was going to be anything super special, especially since we're having them on the Saturday night main events and nothing has really happened in these that kind of impact the show. But overall, this match was decent. I would say that like you, I enjoyed this match. Rhea went out there and looked like a monster against Nia Jax, and I hope that that's what this was for. I hope that this feud ends here and Naya moves on to do other things, and then Rhea can focus on what's to come post Rumble. Because I don't really need to see this keep going any longer. I saw what I needed to see, and I saw Rhea successfully defend her championship, and now we have to give her an opponent going into Mania that is worth having her feud with, and that's what I'm waiting to see.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see who that opponent's going to be as well. Looking forward to talking about that. I have a few predictions for the Women's Royal Rumble match, and hopefully their opponents that Rhea is going to be facing. But moving forward onto the second match of Saturday night's main event, one that I was looking forward to: Sheamus versus Braun Breaker here. I believe we both had Braun Breaker winning this match. If I'm not mistaken, I may have had Sheamus, but Braun Breaker did, of course, beat Sheamus, and he is still our Intercontinental Champion. This match was actually a really fun one as well. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This match started off with both men grappling, trying to outmaneuver one each other. Sheamus gained the momentum very early on in the match with a clothesline until Braun was able to throw him into the corner and throw him over the shoulder. Braun then ran the ropes as he does with the 23-mile-per-hour speed, hit him with a clothesline, hit Sheamus with a clothesline, that is. Sheamus went to the outside. Braun followed suit and ran around the ring. But Sheamus caught Braun and threw him into the announce keeper's area. It was a pretty crazy spot. I thought that the shit looked painful on my watching it from the TV. So Sheamus took control of the match shortly after that. He tried to hit his own running clothesline off of the steel steps, and Braun actually reversed this and hit a spear out of nowhere. It was crazy. That was a great spot. And we went immediately into commercial break because it looked like both those dudes got the wind knocked out of each other. Um, we came back from commercial break to Braun continuing to dominate the match, putting Sheamus on his shoulders and dropping him onto his knees with a nasty looking move. He did this twice, but Sheamus was able to fight back and hit Braun with a few punches of his own, followed by a big knee to the head and a pin, but Braun was able to kick out. Sheamus then took Braun to the ropes and hit his one of his signature moves, the 10 beats of the Badrin. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I apologize, Sheamus. I didn't mean any disrespect. He then took Breaker into a Celtic cross, followed by a cover, but Breaker kicked out at two. I was getting a little nervous here. I thought Sheamus might have pulled it off. But Braun got up. He sent Sheamus into the corner, hit a gorilla press slam, and went for the pin, but Sheamus kicked out. And Braun took Sheamus to the corner, hit the Breakensteiner off of the top rope, and charged up his spear. Braun then went for the spear, but Sheamus hit the bro kick. And I genuinely thought when he reversed the spear into the bro kick, I thought it was over. I thought Sheamus was going to be a Grand Slam champion. But unfortunately for Sheamus, Braun put his foot on the rope. Um, Sheamus got up and went for a second bro kick, but Sheamus's ribs gave out and Braun ran the ropes and hit his spear for the pin and the win. And Braun is our still our Intercontinental Champion. I really did enjoy this match. This was a hard hitting one. Sheamus, any match that Sheamus is in is always going to be a good one. Breaker has been putting on fantastic matches with anyone he gets in the ring with, especially when it comes to defending his title. I'm glad that he won this. I'm glad that he's continuing his reign, especially because I thought that the Jey Uso win over Breaker, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. So I'm glad he's able to he's been able to move past that. And they had a tease. They had a tease on this last week's Monday Night Raw that I'm excited to ask you about. But wanna get your thoughts on this match overall. Are you happy with the outcome of Braun Breaker winning here? And do you think this is the end of Sheamus going for the Intercontinental title, or where do you see him possibly winning it if he does?
There wasn't a lot of matches on this card, so I think I can safely say that this was probably my match of the night. These two were two bulls in a china shop, and they just gave it their all. They really went for it, and I think they both proved to us why they both deserved this belt. I had said it before. I don't think it's time for Sheamus to win it. I think the chase is going to be better for him. Um, so Braun Breaker winning this just gives him the belt for a while longer until Sheamus can finally take it away from him. I think that'll happen probably at Mania. I think the chase towards Mania is where we're going. I don't think that Sheamus has a chance winning the Rumble and going on for a bigger spot. I think his main focus should be the IC belt, and I don't think he should just stop here. I don't think him losing here should be the end of it. I think he needs to get back up on that horse and challenge Breaker again until he gets this right, and we can crown him that Grand Slam champion. Overall, though, this match, slobber knocker, like we like saying, these boys hit it out the fucking park, and I thoroughly enjoyed this match.
Yeah, it was a fun one. Um, I hope that Sheamus does win it, maybe at WrestleMania, maybe at WrestleMania. But before we move forward into the rest of the show, we had a tease on this previous Monday Night Raw with Braun Breaker. Kathy Kelly was interviewing Braun Breaker. He's going to ask him about how he felt about beating Sheamus. But while he was asking the fans if there was any dogs, whatever fucking city they were in, because I'm forgetting what city they were in, he was doing his famous little slogan. He looked to the corner of his eye because someone was walking past him, and the camera panned to the right, and it was Penta. Penta stopped, stared at Braun. He threw up his little gang signs. The crowd said, "Penta cero miedo," and I got excited. That was hype. The prospect of Penta versus Braun Breaker, with the matches that Pence's already had with Chad Gable and Pete Dunne, he's getting comfortable with the WWE style. The fans love him. He's already over. They know when to chant his slogans, and he's fantastic. WWE's taking full advantage of this, and they're already putting him in front of Braun Breaker, which is exciting. Would you like to see Penta win the Intercontinental Championship from Braun, or do you think Sheamus should still be the one to beat Braun whenever it is that he does?
I like this segment. The segment was cool just because Penta's name kind of does carry that weight right now. He's a new kid. He's a hot new wrestler that everybody wants to work with. So I think there was more of a tease. I don't think that Penta will be the one to take it away from Breaker. I think that Sheamus is still the one to take it from Breaker, but I do see Penta and Breaker in the cards for the future because that would be just a phenomenal match between the both of them. Penta is now in the WWE and he's showing everybody what he can do. And Braun's just been establishing himself since he left NXT. Even in NXT, he established himself, but he's just been making his name known on the main roster any chance he can. And I think that when these two finally get their hands on each other, it's going to be a great fucking set of matches.
No, that's going to be a fantastic match. I cannot wait for that to happen because Braun already has great matches with Carmelo Hayes, who's very similarly, because he's a smaller stature, similar to Penta. I think they would work well together. But I would be extremely excited to see when this would happen. Of course, I think, as you mentioned, it is a tease. I don't think they're going to waste this on a Monday Night Raw or a random episode of Raw. That is, might be a pay per view worthy match, but it's nice to get excited about matches featuring Braun Breaker. and Penta, just because, as you mentioned, this it's outside of like the main superstars like the CM Punk, Seth Rollins. They've really expanded and started to build other superstars, and it's cool to see us getting excited about the mid carders such as Braun Breaker and Penta. But going back to Saturday night's main event, the third segment, they used this as the break in between the four matches, of course, was the Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens contract signing with San Antonio's very own Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels made his entrance. The crowd absolutely loved it. They adore him. He is in his hometown. Hilariously, there were some tweets, some comments online. When Shawn Michaels sort of kneels to do the flex. Someone said that he wasn't able to really get up after that. His back had given out. Uh, and I thought that was pretty funny. But great to see Shawn Michaels in the WWE ring with the pyro. His entrance is always fun. Everyone loves him, and it's a great way to celebrate the pay per view. But of course, Sean was there for business. He introduced both Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, and he let the fans know that his one job tonight is going to be to walk away with both of their championship belts and both of their signatures on the contract for their Royal Rumble match. Cody, as soon as he got in the ring, he was quick with it, wasted no time. He was the first to sign the contract, followed by Kevin Owens. But Kevin didn't sign the contract. He grabbed it, put his pen down, and he grabbed the mic immediately. He said, speaking directly to Cody, he said, last night you said something that really pissed me off. You said 10 out of 10 times Kevin Owens takes the easy way out, but you're a liar. You take the easier way out, because who left here when things got tough? You left and I stayed. Cody interjected. He yelled enough and basically told Kevin to shut his ass up. He said, I'm done focusing on Kevin Owens. I'm more worried about who I'm going to be facing at WrestleMania. So can you please just sign the contract? Kevin Owens then, of course, picked up the pen. He dropped it again. He said, Saturday night at the Royal Rumble, I'm going to shut everyone up because I'm the rightful WWE champion. Kevin Owens then said that he's taken everything away from Cody, all the pyro, all the entrances, all the money. Shawn Michaels interjected. He said, Jesus, Kevin, you just sound jealous. And then you could tell this triggered Kevin Owens because he looked side eyed Shawn Michaels. He said, of course you side with Cody Rhodes because when things got tough for you here, you quit too. And I think you're jealous because I'm making the championship mean more than you ever did. Then Kevin finally got the pen, signed the contract, and disrespectfully slammed it into HBK's chest. And then Shawn Michaels calmly, he kept his cool. He said, gentlemen, there's only one thing left to do, and that is to take these championships and hang it above the ring. Can I please get a referee in here to help me ascend these above the ring? Kevin then kissed his belt goodbye. The ref hung it up. Cody then gave his belt as well to the ref, and he hung that belt up as well. As the men, Shawn Michaels and Cody Rhodes, were making their way out of the ring, Kevin Owens punched Cody in the back of his head. Shawn Michaels jumped in the way and told Kevin to calm his ass down. So then, when Shawn turned his back to continue to walk out, Kevin Owens went for the package pile driver on Shawn Michaels, and I was like, no way he's gonna take this move. But of course, they weren't gonna let Michaels take that risk. Cody stepped in, he saved Shawn with a super kick, and that's when Shawn Michaels tuned up his band and hit a sweet chin music on Kevin Owens too. So Kevin Owens took two kicks to the jaw, one by Cody, one by Shawn Michaels at this last Saturday night's main event during their contract signing. You knew Shawn Michaels was going to be in the building. You knew we were going to get him tuning up the band. How did you feel overall about this contract signing? How are you feeling about the match coming up in the feud in general? Are you excited that this is going to be a ladder match? And who early? I'm gonna just skip ahead. I'm gonna ask you, who do you think is gonna win this match, this upcoming weekend at the Royal Rumble?
So I wasn't invested too much of this match in the beginning. I guess in this feud, I should say. In this feud, I wasn't too invested at the beginning because I felt like it was a side story to keep Cody busy, but KO has really transformed the story into something of his own, where he's just this insane maniac who thinks he's the champion and he wants to be on top. So he's, asking other people, hey, if you win the Rumble, challenge me. So I'm invested in it now. I love that not only KO, but not only Seth Rollins, but now KO also. They've shaded AEW in secret twice. I think Seth has done it now twice, and KO has done it once, so now three times. I think that shit's cheeky. I think that's funny. Uh, for my taste, this promo between them, this contract signing went a little too long. Again, this is something that I would have preferred happened on SmackDown just to get us, really hyped right before the Rumble for this match. But I still think this is gonna be the sleeper match of the night at Rumble. I think that these two are gonna fucking absolutely try to kill each other, and it's gonna be a brutal match. My question to you though is, will do you think we will transition into the wing belt fully after this match, or do you think they get rid of the wing belt and they just give Cody back his WWE belt? As for who wins this match, I think Cody's just gonna retain it. I don't see KO winning it, but if they went with KO, I wouldn't be mad at it either, just because it spices up that storyline, because Cody's gonna chase right after. So back to my question though, do you think we're gonna stick with the Winged Eagle, or do you think we just go straight back to just the WWE?
I think we're gonna go back to the WWE Championship that Cody won at 40, just the
Okay.
regular gold belt, not the Winged Eagle. I think they got too much money into it with the TKO branding and the WWE branding. I don't think they want to go back to the Winged Eagle. But we'll see. I have enjoyed seeing it on TV. It looks great, and I think Cody wears it well. I think Owens wears it well also. This match has a lot of different outcomes that could arise from it. I say this because there are so many external factors that are outside of the two men, Cody and Kevin. We know we have the story and the buildup with Randy Orton. We haven't seen him on TV. We may have forgotten about him. I haven't forgotten about him. I know he's lurking somewhere. The Viper is always ready to strike. That makes me a little nervous, especially with WrestleMania season upon us. This is when things start to get tricky, when people, start to make decisions that will benefit them personally and in hopes of attaining a WrestleMania main event. And so, with that being said, I can see Randy Orton is maybe interfering in this match, accidentally costing Cody the match. Do we get a Cody Randy Orton feud as we head into WrestleMania 41? I can see Randy Orton costing Kevin Owens the match and Cody being upset about that. Yo, what you doing in my match, yo? Because you already seen a little dark side of Cody. I will say we're getting little hints. We're getting little hints of Cody being upset, getting frustrated with just his title reign right now and in general in kayfabe. He's turning a little bit. He's not the happy go lucky champion we've seen him be the first couple of months. I think Kevin Owens has brought out some frustration in him that we haven't seen. And then this last week on Monday Night Raw, we got a very interesting promo between CM Punk and Cody Rhodes to close out the show. And in that, CM Punk's made his claim. He said, "Look, man, I'm gonna stab you from the front like a real friend." And I'm just gonna tell you, I'm gonna win the Royal Rumble. And when I win the Royal Rumble, I'm gonna challenge you. And Cody was like, "Son, you're talking crazy because you see, I used to look up to you. I used to want to be you. I used to chase the ghost of CM Punk. We were chasing the ghost of CM Punk. But buddy, I'm not chasing you anymore. You're chasing me. Yo, I'm rocking with it, Cody. Talk your shit." So with that being said, there's so many different outcomes, man. And then with Kevin Owens as well, we can't forget Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is an integral part in all of this as well. I say that because as of the last 2 weeks, Sami Zayn has caused some harm to his friends. I say friends with quotations around them because he haluva kicked Seth Rollins accidentally last 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw, and this week he haluva kicked Cody Rhodes accidentally as well, both caused by Drew McIntyre, as we've seen him play a role in this as well. So many superstars, so many things going on here, and this is all surrounding the championship match between Cody and Kevin. Very long-winded answer. I apologize. I
You're good.
apologize. I say all that to say that I think that Cody Rhodes is gonna walk away as champion because I don't see him losing. I don't see him losing. But I hope I live in a world where Kevin Owens wins this championship with the help of Sami Zayn. I hope I live in this world where we experience that storyline because I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued with where they've been going. Before we move on to Saturday to continue talking about Saturday night's main event, I know I just went off on a tangent. I want to hear your thoughts on what I just said. Anything that stuck out to you, or anything that you may agree with, especially with all the different feuds, the promos that we've gotten as we have built up to the Royal Rumble and how it's culminated slowly but surely.
I think you make a good point. It's something that we've been pushing on the podcast for a couple weeks now. All these storylines are interconnected, and it's for a reason. And I feel like you're kind of hitting the nail on the head with this. I think that this is why they're all connected. We don't know what's going to happen in some of these matches. And with a match like this, I would say that I was kind of in the thought that this might be just a straightforward match. That there's not going to be any interferences. But now you make a ton of good points. One of my kind of what was it? It was the feuds that I was looking forward to post Romania is something we're going to talk about later. On my KO, one of the one points that I had was the KO storyline, and is Randy going to return, and will that be the feud that he goes in towards Mania? I feel like we have kind of a good chance if he doesn't win the match on Saturday. I have a good feeling that we might be seeing Randy versus KO at Mania somehow, and they might start building up to that. If they do it with the interference, like you said, I think that's perfect, and we start building these two into a rivalry that really transcends and becomes this big match for them at Mania.
Yeah, no, that would be exciting. I'm just so many outcomes could come from this, and that's what I'm most looking forward to this year's Royal Rumble. So very excited, and we'll see. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. Everything is kept close to chest, and I am so excited for this weekend. But moving back to
Well,
Saturday night's main event,
before we move on, let me ask you a question because you did bring it up.
of
You
course.
said that Sami Zayn, there might be a chance Sami Zayn interferes in this. And there is a chance
Yes,
because so much shit has happened with him
yes.
that there is a chance. Do you think if he does come in and he helps KO win that belt, do you think we see a dynamic duo of these two becoming like a heel team? Or
I
do you
would love it.
or do you think that this will lead eventually, like always, into a Sammy versus KO type thing?
I would love to see them work as heels together. The story between Kevin and Sammy is they're always gonna end up fighting each other, and we're always gonna continue to root for Sammy. Unfortunately for Kevin Owens, it's just the way of the road. I think, um, and they're actually friends. They're actually friends. They've been friends since high school, if I'm not mistaken, and so their chemistry is untouched by any other partnership or friendship in the WWE, unless it's like the Usos and their family. They have some fucking chemistry that only they understand because they've worked together for so long, and because of that, they can do so many different things, and the fans are gonna love it. So I would love to see them as heels. I don't think I've seen Sammy as a heel on television. I don't think that's happened.
Mm-mm.
I would love to see how it would play out. And what's interesting about this, and you're a big Karrion Cross fan. You fuck with Karrion Cross. I've been on the fence about him. But lately, everything he's been touching has turned into gold. And we've seen him now have these backstage segments with Sami Zayn where he's trying to tell him like, "Hey, bro, like you gotta think for yourself. You gotta be selfish. You gotta go win the Royal Rumble for you. Stop caring about everybody else. Care about you." Seth Rollins, I think, told him the same thing a few weeks ago, something along those lines. He said, "Look, man, I want Sammy, I want you to be to bring the best out of yourself or something. I don't even fucking know, but he said something along those lines. Um, and then with CM Punk the other day, he mentioned Sammy in one of his promos disrespectfully. He said, "Sami Zayn, he is not on my level." He said that when talking about the opponents he's gonna face at the Royal Rumble. And Sammy this week, he saw CM Punk backstage. He said, "You know what, sucker?" He came up to him. He said, "You know what, sucker? You talking crazy because you're saying I'm not on your level, bro. I main evented a WrestleMania. You have never done that. You're right. I'm not on your level. I'm better than you. And I love that. That was sick because he's right. He is better than him. And so I would love to see Sami Zayn. And the thing is, I need to know when the match, like when the matches will be taking place. If the Royal Rumble match takes place before the Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens match, it may change my answer. It may change my answer. I think I don't fucking know how they do it, but I would love to see Sammy either accidentally interfere trying to help Cody the way he's been doing it with Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens, because Drew and Kevin Owens have developed a friendship.
Hmm.
And the reason why Sammy has haluva kicked Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes is because Drew has been the reason behind all that. He's been the one they've been getting into scraps. He gets out of the way. He accidentally hits his friends, et cetera, whatever. And I can see Drew maybe losing Royal Rumble, coming out to help Kevin Owens. Sammy tries to come out to help Cody because he hates Drew, but he accidentally hits Cody again. And then, Kevin Owens wins. That'd be crazy. So I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it, but I would love to see it. It's all depending on the match card and where each match is in the order of the night. Um, but yeah, man, I would love to see them as heels together, and I think it would end in them, of course, always feuding. I think that's how they're going to end up retiring each other. Is going to be in a match against each other as well.
That
So
makes sense.
we will see. But shout out to Sammy, man. Shout out to fucking Sammy. Love Sammy. Big fan. I think he deserves to be in the world title picture. I would love to see him in the picture, and if he helps Kevin Owens along the way, I wouldn't be mad at it. Kevin Owens did tell him. He did tell him this week on Monday Night Raw. He said, "Hey, bro, you and I, we main evented WrestleMania together, but we've never main evented WrestleMania against each other." Sami Zayn was Sami Zayn kind of looked at him, gave him a little eye. He said, "You right. That's intriguing. That is intriguing." But Kevin Owens is he's very manipulative. He knows how to say certain things, and Sammy, he's very gullible. We've seen him with the whole bloodline situation. So Sammy can be very gullible, and I think with Karrion Cross playing a mix, playing a factor into this, with Kevin Owens playing a factor into this, we may see him. We may actually see this happen. We may see this happen. But Kevin Owens still has ties to the bloodline. He's still the good guy, and so it'll be intriguing to see. I think a lot of things would have to change for a Sami Zayn heel turn, but it would be sick. It would be sick, but this is just me. This is just me rambling now. But with that being said, I'm gonna bring it back to one of my other favorite wrestlers at this moment in time. The third match in Saturday night's main event was Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman. Listen, man. This Samoan, listen, man. I I he may be my tribal chief. He may be my tribal chief. If he continues the run that he's been on, if he continues to cut the promos the way he's been cutting them, and he's on TV every Friday. That's why I rock with Jacob, because I could count on him being on TV every Friday and me getting a segment, me getting a promo, me getting a moonsault. I'm getting something. And that's why I could fuck with Jacob Fatu. He's the best Samoan out there right now. Way better than Jey Uso. Way better than Jimmy Uso. It's not even close. It's not even close. But anyways, to get back on the match, Braun Strowman is a big motherfucker. I didn't realize how large this dude is as a human being. I think he's like 7 feet, 300 something pounds. Huge,
He's a big
huge.
boy.
So large human being. Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman, Godzilla versus King Kong. But as Jacob Fatu said, he said, "You not Godzilla or King Kong, because I'm both. Because I'm both." That's what Jacob said. And he was. Listen, I don't even really got to talk about the match. The match, they had a cool little match. We got the spots. Jacob Fatu did the moonsaults. We got Braun Strowman running around the ring, hitting a spear on Jacob Fatu twice, setting him into the table on the third one, where he ran around. Jacob caught him into a Samoan drop onto the announce table, and I think it finally broke. This is the first time we've seen the new announce tables break.
Mhm.
Um, and Fatu Jacob then sent his ass back into the ring, and then he hit the running butts that he likes to do, the rikishis. I don't even know what the fucking move is called, but he hit about 7 of those on Braun's neck. He was just out in the corner and it was crazy saliva coming out his mouth. The ref was like, "Yo, you got to relax. You about to kill him." These were looking deadly. And you could just see Braun just fucking looking like he was about to pass out. Bro definitely got a concussion from this. But Jacob Fatu hit that shit like 7 times. Then Braun laid out. Jacob then climbed up to the top rope. He started fucking hitting his moonsault, and he hit about 7 of those. Fucking Braun Strowman was bleeding out of his mouth. And then there was 10 guards trying to stop Jacob Fatu, but he was like, "Nah, son, I don't care." He was knocking these security guards out of the way. And he was over here emoting. They even had to send Tama Tonga out to try and calm him down. But Jacob wasn't having it. He wasn't having it. He kept going back hitting the moonsault. And then there was a point where Jacob Fatu actually got escorted out, and the crowd, the fucking San Antonio was a bunch of assholes. They were chanting one more time, and Jacob Fatu turned around while he was walking up the ramp. He turned around, ran back into the ring, hit another springboard moonsault, and Braun Strowman, he's dead. They haven't even announced what the status is on him. I don't even know if he's conscious right now. But Jacob Fatu hit about 8 springboard moonsaults off the top rope onto that man, but that was after he hit 8 of the running fucking butts that he does onto the turnbuckle on Braun Strowman's neck. Nah, bro, he's fucked up, bro. And this was fun to watch. I love this. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It got me hyped. So yeah, Jacob, beat his ass. They took this right out of the Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins playbook that they
Mm-hmm.
did on Monday Night Raw a couple months ago. Um, Bronson actually tweeted during this or after this, he said, "This looks very familiar," something along those lines. So a little Easter egg there. Um, I would love to see Jacob Fatu and Bronson Reed whenever he does return. That's going to be exciting stuff. But Bronson Reed and Jacob teamed up at War Games, so we probably won't see that for a while. But man, intense. Jacob Fatu on fire. They built him up like a monster. I was nervous heading into this match because I was curious to see how they were gonna do. How they were gonna book this between Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu, because WWE, for whatever fucking reason, they love them some Braun Strowman.
They do.
So I was nervous. I was nervous. I thought Jacob might have, he was. I didn't think he was gonna lose, but I was just nervous to see how it was gonna work out. And this made me so happy that he just outright destroyed Braun Strowman. The only way this could have been better, the only way this could have been better was if it wasn't Braun Strowman and it was Damian Priest. That's the only way this could have been better.
So
But besides
disrespectful.
that, this was perfect. I want to hear your thoughts on Jacob Fatu's rampage on this last week Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, look, this was never going to be a 5-star match to begin with, and these boys went out there with the mission. I think they accomplished it. They made Jacob look like the absolute beast that they're trying to build him to be, and I think that's perfect. They obviously have a huge plan for him moving forward, probably post Mania, I would assume. So this was exactly what we needed to see. We needed to see him destroy someone a lot bigger than him, so that we know that there's no one in that locker room that can pose a threat. Jacob just, like I said in previous weeks, if you're not sold on Jacob, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but this kid is just gold, and I'm glad that WWE sees that in him. So this match, even though it was good, while it was a match, it did end up in and Jacob Fatu being disqualified and then just completely obliterating Braun Strowman. And like I said, I think that's perfect. I think that's what we needed to see from him. You said a bunch of refs came out and he just took care of all of them. I feel like he was just shoving them out of the way because they didn't want to really fucking fuck with him. They did not want to get in the way and get hit. So after a while, he was just kind of just moving the crowd. Tamatonga did come out and he was doing his little yeahs in the side. I thought that was pretty funny. I'm surprised and I'm shocked that he has gotten that over as much as he has, but it is finally getting over.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
I never
yeah, yeah,
I and if you would have asked me what is your vision for Tama Tonga in the WWE, it would have never been this. It would have never been he's gonna get yeah over. It's insane, but it shows you that people are behind the bloodline. People are behind this new bloodline that's being So this match, okay match, but a great showing for both of them, especially for Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, I don't even think, bro. I don't even think people are behind the bloodline, the new bloodline per se. I think they're really just behind Jacob Fatu, and because of that, you know,
Yeah, that makes
everyone
sense.
in his circumference is just fucking great as well, and I think they benefited from Jacob Fatu immensely. Everyone has. Solo did. I love you,
Oh,
Solo.
oh
He got that
yeah.
over. Um,
He really did
Now
though.
he's riding with Tom. Yeah, now he's riding with Tama Tonga mainly because Tonga Low is hurt. And look at how Tama Tonga got over. Like we were rocking with Tama Tonga because he was nice. He wrestles well. It's fun to watch him in the ring. And he was over, but not as he was over before with Solo Sokoa before Jacob got there, but not as much as he is now. And now they paired them up together very well. And what's interesting about this, I do want to bring it up prior to this Saturday night's main event, on the episode of SmackDown before, we got Solo Sikoa to return, his first time returning to television since losing to Roman Reigns. He returned and he got booed out the building. No one let him get a word off. And he looked defeated. He looked sad, like he just lost. And while he stood in the middle of the ring with Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga behind him, and they were waiting for Solo Sikoa to say something. They've been waiting for Solo for the last couple weeks. Solo couldn't get a word out, so he just left, walked out the ring, leaving Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga by themselves in awe. But Jacob Fatu was not phased. He picked up the mic and he told, I don't even remember what city he was in, but he told them to shut their ass up and that they one thing that they can't do is tell him that Jacob Fatu doesn't deserve to be where he's at, and he's gonna command his respect. And he also said the scary thing about this is that he's only just getting started, and I think that's the best part of it all. He's just getting started. I cannot wait. This is just the beginning, and now Solo Sokoa leaving his boys out just high and dry. I don't think that's going to bode well for him at all. So I'm looking forward to see where we see Jacob Fatu next, and I hope it is in this year's Royal Rumble. But before we get into the Royal Rumble discussion of the night, the final match was the World Heavyweight Championship match: Jey Uso versus Gunther. I think we both had Gunther winning this match before we started. Now, as we headed into this main event, after the night was over, I was nervous because no titles had changed had changed hands. And with Jey Uso going up against Gunther in the main event of Saturday night's main event, as main event Jey Uso, as my good friend William Riley has coined it, um, I was nervous. I thought this motherfucker was gonna beat Gunther. And luckily, I'm gonna just spoil it. That didn't happen. But I'm gonna just fast forward. I'm gonna just fast forward to the end of this match because the match itself was a pretty. I I will say I was very fucking surprised at Jey Uso. I think I counted 2 or 3 super kicks this match. A fucking career low. He put on a banger with Gunther. I will say this was probably one of the best Jey Uso matches I've ever seen. This motherfucker had me on my toes. I was nervous, bro, because there was a point in this match towards the end where Jey Uso he hit his 3 moves. He hits a super kick into the spear, into the splash, pin Gunther, bro. Bro, my heart dropped because it was like 6:58 p.m. and you knew the shit was gonna end in 2 minutes. And so I'm looking at the time and I'm looking at Jay hit the splash after the spear, after the super kick, and I'm like, no, Jesus, don't let this happen. But Gunther kicked out at like 2.9, bro. He kicked out at 2.9, and a breath of fresh air. I was relieved. I was fucking relieved because I couldn't breathe. I was so nervous. Um, but Gunther ended up fucking kicking out of that, and I was just whoof, wiped the sweat off my forehead. Jay went back to the corner to hit another spear on Gunther, but that's when Gunther caught him in a power bomb, and he hit another power bomb, and went for the pin and won the match. It was a very very fun match to watch. I cannot believe. I cannot believe Like, bro,
They
that
had
could have
your
been
ass
very close.
sweating.
Nah, bro, I'm still sweating thinking about it because that shit was a little nerve wracking. I really thought Gunther might have lost, but I'm glad that shit is over and done with. Um, and Jey Uso could move on to the Royal Rumble. I want to hear your thoughts on the match. Did you enjoy it? Were you happy with the outcome? At any point, did you think Jey Uso may have walked away, may have walked out of San Antonio with the World Heavyweight Championship?
Nah, I think I had Gunther from the start. I don't think this is Jay's time. Sadly, eventually, someday it might be, but it's just not now. Not especially with the run that Gunther's been having. I feel like Gunther, if he's gonna lose it, it's gonna be to someone with a bigger name. No offense to Jey Uso, but he just doesn't carry that heavyweight title name like other people do. So I definitely didn't think that at any point Jay was gonna win this. I think I even said it in our previous episode. There's no way Gunther's losing this at a fucking NBC show, and I was right. I didn't see any of these titles changing hand, and none of them really did. This match was, I would say, it was okay. It was an okay match. I feel like we already know that Gunther's out there gonna go out there and perform, so this was more of a chance for Jay to really prove himself against an opponent that obviously he's not ready to defeat. And he went out there and he laid it all out. Like you said, he pulled that super move towards the end where he just kicked all of his specials. He ulted and he hit them all, but it just wasn't enough because Gunther is him right now, and that's how it should be.
Shit.
So
It was almost enough. It was too close to enough. That shit, I was nervous.
I know
I was nervous.
it had to have had you sweating, but at the time I was like, nah, Gunther's got this. He'll kick out. He's gonna pull off one big move, and we're gonna call it a day. And that's where Jay's gonna rest for now. I will be interested to see if Jay's gonna continue to try to tack onto Gunther, if he's gonna move on to other stuff. But I guess only time is gonna tell.
Yeah, no, I think it's over. I think Gunther already told him, like, get the fuck out of here. I beat you twice, beat you for the Intercontinental. I beat you for this. Like, it's over, buddy. I agree. I agree. Jay, if listen, if Jay wins the World Heavyweight Championship at some point in his career, I don't care. But just don't have him beat Gunther. Like, don't do that shit. That shit's gonna piss me the fuck off. If anyone is beating Gunther,
It's
it's gonna be
Damian Priest.
fuck no, kill me, kill me. It's gonna be Chad Gable. It's gonna be Chad
Ooh,
fucking
okay.
Gable. It's gonna be Braun Breaker or Chad Gable or fucking Ludwig Kaiser before it's
Ooh.
ever Damian Priest. Before it's ever Jey Uso first beating him fucking for the World Heavyweight Championship. No, we're not having that shit.
Hey, don't knock my
Especially
boy
not
Ludwig
Damian
like
Priest.
that, dude. Ludwig
No,
would
no, no,
he
no.
would look good
I'm
with some
saying
gold around his
I'm
waist.
saying I would have Ludwig win before having Jey Uso or Damian Priest win. I would love to see that in the
Yeah.
future. That I'd love to see that, or Chad Gable or Braun Breaker, whatever. But not a fucking Jey Uso. No, that's what we're not gonna do. So well, happy for J Man. You know, you got the motherfucking crowd with you. You do your little walkout. He came out with Quavo this last Monday Night Raw in Atlanta. He came out with Travis Scott in Los Angeles. I don't know who he gonna come out with at the Royal Rumble. It's in Indianapolis. He might bring out Peyton Manning. We'll see.
You
But
could.
he was out here yeeting. He yeeted his way into a loss though, and that's all that matters. And he made his announcement that he will be entering the Royal Rumble. WWE just keeps giving him chance after chance after chance, and he keeps losing. But whatever. With that being said, that puts a bow on Saturday night's main event. Before we move on to the Royal Rumble, how many stars out of 5 would you give the second iteration of the new Saturday night's main event?
Like I said, I think going into this, we knew that every match was going to be solid. It just wasn't going to knock it out of the park. It wasn't going to tear the house down. So, based off the matches that we had, I would say that I'd give it a 4, only because again, I think that the contract signing should have been on SmackDown. I don't think this should with the time allotted already on this show. I don't think we should have taken more time away from it just for that. So I'm gonna stick to a 4 out of 5 stars. How much are you giving it?
I would give this one. I agree with you. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would have loved to see maybe a Tiffany Stratton match or maybe a Lyra Valkyria match as well. Um, Instead of the Cody and Kevin Owens contract signing, I could have appreciated that. But it is what it is. I like the format. The two matches. something in the middle there, and then another set of matches. So I wasn't too upset about it. I'll give it 4 stars. I enjoyed it, and it was just a tease for what is the main. It was an entree. No, it was a fucking appetizer to the entree, which is this weekend's Royal Rumble, which will be taking place in Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Now to the business. I cannot wait for this year's Royal Rumble. So many superstars have already been announced. Let me just run you through the list of
Run the names.
confirmed
Run the names.
entrants. LA Knight,
Ooh.
John Cena,
Ooh.
CM Punk, Jey
Mm-hmm.
Uso, Roman
Mm-hmm.
Reigns,
Mm-hmm.
Seth Rollins,
Mm-hmm.
Drew McIntyre,
Mm-hmm.
Rey Mysterio,
Yeah.
Sami Zayn,
Mm-hmm.
Shinsuke Nakamura,
Ooh.
Logan Paul,
Ooh.
Penta, Chad Gable, Braun Breaker, and Carmelo Hayes.
That's a stack card.
It's a stat card. How I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
There should
6,
be 15, right?
13, 14. Yep. 15 already announced. That means we don't know who the fucking other 15 are gonna be. We don't know if it may be 16. We don't know. There may be some surprises. There may be some surprises. But this is one of the most stacked Royal Rumbles we have seen in a very, 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 very long time. And that is as we head into it. These are already the announcements. Who's coming that hasn't been announced? This is only going to get better. But with that, I want to ask you the first question I have in mind.
You.
What feuds are you looking forward to, or are you hoping to see as a result of this year's Royal Rumble as we head into WrestleMania season?
So I touched upon it lightly earlier, but one of the ones that I'm invested in right now would be the KO storyline. I want to see what happens post main or post Rumble. You know, is he gonna have the belt? Is he not gonna have the belt? If he's not gonna have the belt, will Randy actually be returning? And is that the feud that we head into for WrestleMania between them? You've also presented another I guess scenario where Sami Zayn gets involved and we go that direction. I think both of those would be really good directions for KO to go. But one of the things that I'm looking forward to, one of the feuds that I'm looking forward to, is to see what KO does. Is he going to keep going towards Cody? Is he going to change his direction towards Randy? Is he going to team up with Sammy and they're just going to take on the entire bloodline or the entire locker room to prove a point? Who knows? But that's one I'm excited for. I've mentioned it a couple times this week or these past few episodes. Gunther is a big one. What's Gunther going to be doing? We've heard a lot of rumblings of potential challengers for him for Mania. So I would love to see who he's going to start building up that feud with so that we know what to expect from him at Mania. Someone that's returning at the Rumble that I'm excited for. I'm pretty sure everybody knows I'm excited for is Charlotte. So I want to see who her first feud is going to be. Um, will it be going towards a belt first? I think that's a mistake, but we know how they love Charlotte. I say she runs a gauntlet. I think that she picks a couple of people in the back and she really warms up those muscles and then finally gets into an impactful feud leading into Mania. So Charlotte's another one that I'm looking for. And the last one that I have, and it's one that I've also mentioned in the past couple of weeks, is Io. I want to know what Io's going to go for. Is Io winning the Rumble? Is she going to go challenging for a belt, or are we going to give her a run for one of the smaller belts? I have no idea, but those are some of the feuds that I am kind of anticipating. Those are the ones that I'm looking forward to seeing progress more after the Rumble. I want to get your thoughts. What are some of the feuds that you are looking forward to post Rumble?
Post Rumble, some of the feuds that I want to see happen. I want to see the continuation of the CM Punk and Roman Reigns storyline. Where is this going to go? We've seen CM Punk already have interactions and have his feud with Drew McIntyre, with Seth Rollins. Now, this is a chance for all of those men to be in the same ring together. Drew McIntyre, Seth, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and all against each other. How is this going to work out? Are we going to get a Shield team up? Are we going to get Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns teaming up against Drew McIntyre and CM Punk in the middle of this match? I can see that happening.
That'd be sick.
But Roman Reigns and CM Punk also just aligned together at War Games, so I could see a combination of something else as well. A lot of different things are gonna happen here. I'm excited for that interaction. Where because out of those four men, we're gonna get a main event match at WrestleMania somehow, some way. Someone one of those four are gonna be involved in a main event, and I'm excited to see that. Another feud, Gunther versus Logan Paul. We've seen the tease already. We've seen the tease. Well, Gunther's not going to be in the fucking match, but Logan Paul, I hope he has a strong outing because I would love to see him. Uh, I would love to see that match. I'd be intrigued. I would be genuinely intrigued between Gunther and Logan Paul for the World Heavyweight Champion. Him winning the Royal Rumble would be insane, insane. If they decide to do that, I wouldn't be mad at it. I would be surprised. It would be insane, but it would be interesting. Another feud that I'm looking forward to seeing. Also, Randy Orton. When is he going to return? Where is he going to return? Is he going to return at this year's Royal Rumble? Is he going to win the Royal Rumble? No one's really talking about him winning, but with how hot he's been since he came back from his back injury, I can see him playing a huge factor in this year's Royal Rumble as well. So looking forward to seeing who he feuds with, who he interacts with in the match. Um, Shinsuke and LA Knight. Will LA Knight throw Shinsuke over? Will he get his rematch for the United States Championship at some point as we continue to head into WrestleMania season? In terms of the women, you brought it up. I do want to see Io Sky win this and see her take on Rhea Ripley. I think that's a WrestleMania main event worthy match. Um, in terms of feuds, Charlotte Flair. Who would I want to see her return against? Um, I can't wait to see the Bianca and Charlotte Flair interaction. We know we're gonna get
Mm.
that. The feud that I'm most intrigued though in the women's match is Jade Cargill gonna come back here? Is she gonna return? We haven't seen her on television in a very long time.
Ooh.
Naomi and Bianca seem to bring her up here and there as they're trying to figure out who attacked Jade, but that was months ago. If you don't know who attacked her by now, you're never gonna find out. And so I think it's finally time to bring her back because I'm losing interest and seeing her return, we're gonna have to pay attention to faces and who's surprised and who isn't. So we're gonna see. I'm looking forward to hopefully Jade Cargill's return. Hopefully she's been in the performance center putting in work and she's gonna come back stronger than she already was. And it should be interesting, especially with the rumors of Bianca and Jade potentially um, going up against each other at WrestleMania. So those are a few of the feuds and some of the interactions that I'm looking forward to. In terms of surprises, the Royal Rumble is huge for surprises. This is why we love it. Um, do you have any guest entrants, any superstars, any celebrities that you think or you would like to see as a surprise entrant in this year's Royal Rumble on both the women's and in the on the men's side?
I think we're way past the point of putting celebrities in the Rumble. I don't think we need to. I think we have enough talent in there that we really shouldn't be wasting spots on celebrities. But I don't know. Maybe WWE will surprise me and we'll get a celebrity entrance. I think if we're gonna go celebrity entrance, the only one that I would truly be okay with would be Bad Bunny, just because I feel like he takes the business serious enough that I don't really see him as a celebrity wrestling. I see him as an aficionado that's kind of working his way into the business. He's said it multiple times that he will love a chance to do a run in the business. He hasn't said where, just like a run in the business post his career. So I really do think that he cares about it. So as a surprise entrance, I would say celebrity wise, I didn't have anyone in mind, but Bad Bunny would be one of them. I really just kind of went into this thinking who can return, who haven't we seen in a while. For the women, I was gonna say Charlotte Flair, but of course she made it pretty known that she's gonna be in it, so I feel like that's a squandered pick. One person that's kind of been subtly teasing in social medias of a return, if it's even a tease at a return, is Alexa Bliss. And I think there's a good chance that we might see Alexa Bliss return at this Royal Rumble. She's been getting in phenomenal shape post giving birth to her first child. So I think it's time. I think if she's ready, I think we're ready to have her back. That roster is stacked as fuck right now, and we can use her to build some of the younger talent up and build her back up because she is one of those fan favorites. As for the men, I thought we might be getting Black back, Alistair Black, just because his time in AEW has come to a close. But it seems like his contract's kind of tied up with the non-disclosure, so I don't see him actually popping up this Rumble. Another one that I actually thought would be AJ, but I don't know if you've heard this. A couple weeks ago, he kind of gave an update on his injury, and he says it's a lot more complicated. They've actually called it a career ender. So I'm just hoping that he, I know this sounds rough, but I'm hoping he stays home for this one. I just want him to fully heal and come back to us whenever he can. If that's in a year, if that's in 2 years, I'm fine with that. The health of our wrestlers is always first and priority. So I'm not gonna pick him either. I'm gonna go with the wild ass fucking pick. And this is a pick that I also had as my one of my guest free agents. But I'm gonna say for a crazy return. And this person has been giving off hints that he wants to return and that he wants another shot. So I don't know if maybe they've already talked, if maybe there's something that they're keeping hidden. But I think it'd be crazy if Rusev returned on this Rumble.
You said Batista,
Rusev.
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 Is his AEW contract is it
He's
over?
out. He's gone. He's out. He's been out. Him and actually Lana, AJ, I can't remember her name. They've actually said that they want to return to WWE as Rusev and Lana are. They just haven't. When I heard it, they hadn't talked to WWE yet. But it's something that's been floating around for a hot minute now. So he,
Rusev returning would be dope.
when I looked at, because I had to look at it, I was like, I'm not really sure who's a free agent and who's not. And apparently, some of these people that are in AEW are free agents. They're not completely locked down to AEW. But Rusev is someone that he burned out his contract and he did not want to return. So he is technically a free agent. So seeing him return, especially after he's been saying that he's been wanting to return, I think that would be a crazy pop, and I think people would actually pop for him.
Oh, for sure. No, I think he would get a great pop. I think that's a solid pick. I definitely hear rumors about the Alistair Black pick. I think I would bet my money on him showing up before Rusev. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
heard any rumblings about that at all. But hey, you might be spot on. You might have just spoiled entering in this year's Royal Rumble.
I think it would be
And
crazy. I love Rusev. One of his best entrances was at Mania when he came out in the tank. I feel like everyone was hot on Rusev. There must have been something in the back that he wasn't happy with, and that's why he left. He obviously saw that the grass was not greener on the other side. So now he's just kind of floating around, and I think this would probably be a perfect time for him to come back. Like I said with Charlotte, there's a lot of talent that Rusev can work with now. So why not bring him back? Why not give him that second opportunity?
hey, Rusev versus Braun Breaker, Rusev versus
Ooh.
Penta. That'd be interesting. Nah, interesting shit. In terms of surprise entrance for me, I got some. Let me get freaky.
Ooh. Let me see. Let me see.
I think. Listen, last year first entrance was Jimmy Uso or Jay. It was Jimmy or Jay. I can't fucking remember. It was the two twins. Number one and number two was the two twins.
Mhm.
I think they do something very similar this year. I think Carmelo Hayes is the number one entrant. And I think Trick Williams makes his
Ooh.
main roster debut as number two.
I
And
like
I
that.
think him getting the whoop that trick chant to start the Royal Rumble match would be an insane moment for him. I think that alone will get him over, and it will get everyone excited for his career on the main roster. So I'm starting there. I'm starting there. In terms of a few additional surprises, I think we're gonna get Big E to return at this year's Royal Rumble. And I hope it's the case. I hope it's the case. We've seen Xavier Woods, we've seen Kofi Kingston the last couple of weeks, uh, feud with Rey Mysterio, feud with a few other guys. Um, as they're trying to convince everyone that they're right for cutting off Big E. No one seems to be on their side. No one seems to be agreeing with them. So I can see Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston being in the Royal Rumble match, and Big E making his long awaited return to in ring competition. And I would love a Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Big E feud. That would be great television. This is the most we've ever cared about the New Day in a very long time, and I think they're going to continue to build on this story that they have, and it's cooking, and it would be very fun to see a Big E return. In terms of another superstar, going back to the first question we asked in terms of feuds, I would love to see Bad Bunny return at the Royal Rumble because Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny would be a great match. Um,
100%.
very recently very recently on Hot Ones with Sean Evans, the show of spicy questions and spicier wings. Bad Bunny was on. Sean Evans asked him, "Do you think you are the best WWE celebrity wrestler?" He said, do I think, is that an opinion? No, that is a fact. I am the best." Logan Paul responded. He said, "Nah, he's talking crazy." But he said, "You know what? You are the best celebrity wrestler because I'm not a celebrity wrestler. I'm just a wrestler." And I would, and Logan Paul called him out. He said, "I'd love to face you at some point if that's something that they want to do." That would be a fun match. Because the match that Damian Priest and listen, I give that motherfucker a lot of flack, but the match that Damian Priest and Bad Bunny put on that Backlash last year, fantastic quality. Haven't seen, that's probably Damian's best match, and he put on a show. And the entrance that Bad Bunny got there, fucking top notch.
Mm.
And so I'd love to see that feud. I think Vegas WrestleMania, Bad Bunny, Logan Paul, that'd be an interesting one. With the Latino crowd in Vegas, they would love a Bad Bunny pop there. So we'll see. We'll see. That's another one. In terms of a few more surprises, TNA is now in partnership with the WWE. Dolph Ziggler, aka Nick Nemeth, I could see him making a return at this year's Royal Rumble with the TNA and WWE partnership now in place. I don't know how you forgot your boy, Joe Hendry. They, for whatever fucking reason, love Joe Hendry. So I could see him making an entrance at the Royal Rumble as well. Um, and then one individual that I want to see Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder. I think that would be sick to see him back in the WWE. I don't know if he's currently, I don't think he signed to anyone exclusively, so there may be a chance that he makes his return. We seen him make a or a one-off appearance at AEW a year or so ago. So hopefully he can return here. I think that'd be fun. And then man, we've been asking for it. I don't think it's gonna happen, but a Brock Lesnar pop would have me very, very excited. Um, but I don't think it's gonna happen. The other ones, though, I think there's a chance. In terms of the women's match, there have been talks that Nikki Bella is set to return to the WWE. She was in contract talks, or at least her lawyers were very recently. So I can see Nikki Bella returning to this year's WWE Women's Royal Rumble match. I love your Alexa Bliss pick. I hope she makes it. I hope she makes it. I hope they figure out some contractual issues I was reading about there.
Oh.
Out. I hope they figure that out so she can return. And then in terms of additional surprises, listen, hell froze over last year when CM Punk came back. I think he can make hell freeze over again and bring his wife AJ Lee to
Shh.
return to this year's Women's Royal Rumble. I think the crowd would go insane, and I think that'd be a great return there. In terms of a few other women's surprises that I'd love to see, I would love to see Oscar return. I don't know her status with her injury. I hope she's recovered and I hope she makes an entrance here. I do miss seeing her on television. She is phenomenal in ring, alongside Io Sky, alongside the Charlotte Flairs of the world. We get Oscar back in here. We can have her running around with Tiffany Stratton, with Charlotte Flair, with Rhea Ripley. Like she can put on matches. So I would love to see her return. That would be great. In terms of anyone else, I think that wraps it up for me on my returns and my surprises.
Well,
Um,
let me maybe jog your noggin a little bit because I think I got both of those questions kind of like not mixed up, but I mashed both of them together. So I do have a couple more answers to that. I'm with you on Brock. I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, but I would love to see Brock return. I know that there's shit that happened with him and all this and that, but I feel like not enough was put on his name that he can return. And I'm with you. I think there would be a sick ass one. You mentioned TNA, so I'll go ahead and mention NXT. Give me some NXT boys, some NXT boys, some NXT girls. Give me Oba, give me Lash, give me Frazier. Put them in there. Let them show out. Let them come up and kind of prove that they deserve a spot on the main roster. I've already said Alexa. That's a question mark, especially with what you just said. Now I had no idea there was contractual issues, but that can also just be a red herring, so it kind of drives us off the scent that Alexa's returning. Another one I did have with the question mark would be Asuka, and the only reason I have it with the question mark is because it kind of seems like her injury is no longer there, but she is dealing with a personal issue. So I don't know if that'll affect her return in any way. And another big one that I think would kind of be crazy. I don't think it would be he's gonna win or he'll go far, but hit those lights and then pop Uncle Howdy. Have Uncle Howdy just appear in the middle of the ring. I think that would be good. I feel like people have forgotten about them already, and
Mm.
everything that they did, especially because they were doing it in the memory of Bray, I feel like they shouldn't just let that go. I feel like they should push that. They just need to fix what they're doing with them. And I feel like this could be a good start. Just have them pop at the Rumble, eliminate a couple people, and then have them be thrown out by someone, and you can have them feud with that person. But I think Uncle Howdy would be a cool one that you could do that with. Just drop those lights, turn them back on, and he's just in the middle. The wrestlers are like, yo, what the fuck? And then he goes to town, I think that would be crazy. Um, in that time, did you think of anyone else, or is that about it?
Oh, I like the Uncle Howdy pick for sure. I didn't even think about that. I have read that the reason why they've been off television is that they're dealing with some injuries. Not
Mm,
they haven't been particular in regards to which members of the Wyatt Six may be injured, but I know they're dealing with some injuries within the group, which is why they've been off television. But if Uncle Howdy isn't hurt, I would love to see that play out with, like you said, turn off all the lights in the building, have him show up in the middle of the ring when the lights come back on. Think that'd be a great spot for him to sort of make his TV return, and get some heat back on them as well. That's a great pick. In terms of people returning, I do want to touch upon AJ Styles. Like you mentioned, the red herring. I hope I hope it was a red herring on his behalf, and he's also not as hurt as he may be making it seem. If he is, I'm wishing him a speedy recovery, but I'm just being hopeful that that's not the case and that he's placing a red herring and he makes his return at this year's Royal Rumble. My good friend William, he brought up a great idea the other day. He said, "What if Finn Balor were to return at this year's Royal Rumble, but not as Finn Balor as he's been shown on television as of recently, but as the Demon?" I like that pick. That's a great pick. Uh,
I like
has
that.
seen him,
I like that, but something needs to happen. Like you can't just bring him back and then just not use him or not put him in a
yeah,
feud. It has if he's bringing back. We've always made it pretty obvious that if he's gonna do the demon, it's for a big reason, and I don't think we go back on that. We only bring that back for big reasons, and this being a big reason is fine, but we need to do something with it after. We can't just let him bring it back, get people hyped, and then just kill it there again.
for sure. And it's a great idea, but I would also not want to see him or the demon get knocked out of the Royal Rumble because
That's
like
true.
I just wouldn't want to see it. So, but great idea. I wouldn't be mad at it if it happens, but I would like to see how it plays out. But no, I think that wraps it up for my guesses, my returns. NXT. I love Obafemi. I don't need to see him on the main roster just yet. I think he's killing it in NXT as the champion. Um, but
But
I
we've
wouldn't be
had
mad at it if he comes out here.
But we have seen people like Shotzi that have the belt and come, go back to
Mm,
NXT. They didn't make the move to the main
mhm,
roster. So I think bringing Oba up and having him show off is just going to bring him more
for
notoriety once
sure.
he goes back down to
For
NXT.
sure. I can respect that. Now I can appreciate that for sure, 1,000%. I love Oba where he is. I would love to see him come out, make a rampage, knock some motherfuckers out. That'd be great.
But I do like
But
your Trick Williams one though. I think that's perfect, and he is someone that we've recently said that he should be moving up to the main roster soon. So I think that your pick on that one is pretty spot on. I feel like we will see that happen, even if it's not one and two. I feel like Trick is gonna be in there somehow.
Yeah, that pop he's gonna get is gonna be fun to watch. Also, the Hardy Boys. I don't know where they're at.
TNA.
There are TNA. But I'm saying I don't know if they're hurt. I don't know where they're at. Uh,
They're good to go. I
like
have a
in the
sneaky
world.
suspicion that they might be there too.
Okay, well that would be a fun one. Um, but no, I'm just looking forward to seeing all the surprises with the 15 announced already. Like we already got a stat car. Who would have thought we would have had John Cena, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, all in this year's 2025. The year is 2025, and Andrew McIntyre, and Sami Zayn. Just a stat card. Oh, and I'm excited. So many surprises are gonna come, and we're gonna have to wait and see. Few hours away, less than 48 hours. So we're almost there. And then in terms of getting into some wins, some winners, some potential winners. Before we get into the individual who you would bet your house on, I want to ask a dark horse, a sleeper pick to win both the men and women's Royal Rumble match, an underdog. Who would you put some money on uh, as an underdog pick at in this year's Royal Rumble?
So I gave this some thought because this is a hard one, right? Because you want someone that necessarily doesn't already have a shoe in for winning it, but you also don't want to go with someone that's super obvious. So for my male pick, I'm gonna go Logan Paul. I think this is gonna be Logan Paul's biggest year yet. He has a fight scheduled coming up with his brother in a couple months. He called out Bad Bunny, and that's major because, like I said, Bad Bunny is requesting to come back to the WWE and somehow. So I feel like this is a way for him to get in. And also WWE has been floating around this Gunther versus Logan for Mania. So as my dark horse, as someone who I think has the best chance that's not one of the bigger guys, I think I got Logan Paul on that one. And for the female one, I think you're gonna be surprised with this one. I don't think you're ever gonna guess who I picked for this one because I didn't even know I was gonna pick this person until I saw her name on the list. My dark horse for the female one is gonna be Ivy Nile. I think we're gonna get big things from her and American Made this year, and them showing her off in this way, I think is great. They've been showing them off more week by week, so I think that they have a certain plan that they have for them that's coming up. So why not just like Chad Gable said, why not just strap them all in gold? If Ivy now has any chance, I feel like she's my dark horse to win this.
I can respect that. I don't know. Would I have Ivy now win? You would have if she were to win. Which champion would she go after? Is she going after Rhea Ripley or is she going after Tiffany Stratton?
I would say she goes after Tiffany Stratton just because they have kind of a backstage presence with each other in a sense. We've seen them interact with each other, but I don't see her going up against Rhea Ripley. I feel like that just wouldn't make any sense. I think a Tiffany Stratton would be more suited for her to go after.
Yeah, it's a solid dark horse pick. In terms of my dark horse on the men's side, I would love to see Sami Zayn win it as an underdog here. I don't think anyone's really paying attention to it. I think everyone's eyes are on the big prizes, CM Punk, John Cena, Roman Reigns, as well as Drew McIntyre. But Sammy's been making a point to let these motherfuckers know to stop playing with his name because he has main evented WrestleMania before. He is a former Intercontinental Champion, a former tag team champion, just an overall superstar, and he is over like none other. Sami Zayn is over like none other. I don't care what anyone says. I think him as a dark horse here, especially with the Kevin Owens and Cody feud. I would love to see it. If Kevin Owens wins the championship match and Sammy wins the Royal Rumble match and we get that feud out of or that match out of this, I would not be mad at it at all. I would absolutely love to see it. In terms of the women's Royal Rumble, this one's tough. I I would love to see Bianca Belair win it. but I would love to see her win it and take on Rhea Ripley. I'd love to see that match happen. I can wait on the Bianca and Jade match. I think if we get Bianca and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, that's a main event worthy match. Um, Especially seeing where we get Jade Cargo to return. If she accidentally cost Naomi and Bianca their tag team championship at some point in the future, I wouldn't be mad at it. We get Bianca back on the singles run, and her main eventing against Rhea would be fantastic. But those are my two dark horse picks. My women's dark horse pick wasn't as much as an underdog. I know Bianca, she OP. They love her. They love her over there in the WWE, but I love her too. I hope she wins, or at least that's my dark horse to win there. And in terms of winning, I want to talk about losers. Is there anyone you don't want to see win this year's Royal Rumble? Anyone who would have you turn this TV off if you see them throw the last man out?
Okay,
Who would have you turn that TV off?
I don't think it would have me turn the TV off, but there's two people right off the back that I don't want to see win. I don't want to see Roman win because I don't think just handing him something again is worth it. I feel like we've seen Roman down and out now, and we're seeing him regain control. And I think we need to keep building that. I don't think he wins here, and I hope he doesn't win here. I feel like the chase for him winning at somewhere something bigger, or weaseling his way into the match later on is better. I don't see him winning the Rumble. John Cena, sadly, another one where I think that the chase is just going to be better. I don't see him winning because then you just kind of give him an excuse to coast until Mania. I want to see him wrestle. This is what the thing is about. His retirement tour is about him wrestling. So I would like to see him wrestle a little bit more, and I don't think having him win the Rumble right away would benefit him in any way. But those are the two people that I really have. If I was to turn off the TV at someone winning, it would really have to be someone that doesn't deserve it in my eyes. And right now, I don't really have anyone in mind. I feel like all the people that are smaller will be thrown out, and we will have the big dogs at the end of the night inside the ring trying to see who wins.
Sure. I have three motherfuckers in mind I don't want to see win. The first, actually, I got four motherfuckers in mind I don't want to see
Oh
win.
no,
The first is
Damian
Damian
Priest.
Priest.
I knew it.
Listen, I don't need to see it. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to see it. I promise you. You can win any. You can win something else, just not the Royal Rumble. Just not this year's Royal Rumble, because it doesn't make any sense. I don't need to see you against Gunther again. I don't want to see you against Cody. Also. This motherfucker just got drafted to SmackDown. He just got traded to SmackDown or whatever. And on the first night he gets to SmackDown, there's a backstage segment where Cody is walking by him, I think. And they like have a little interaction. He daps him up, and Damien's like, I'm coming for that belt. A little, it may not have been those words verbatim, but he let him know that he's on his hit list, and that should piss me off. I better not see, I better not see Cody and Damian Priest in a match together at least for a couple fucking months, man. If they interject Damian Priest into this goddamn title picture during WrestleMania season, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. Like, bro, you just were over there chasing the world heavyweight. You lost. You lost. So do not give him a title chance right now. It's just gonna piss me off. That's one. That's one. Two, Jey Uso. Look, motherfucker, you got your entrance. That's cool and all. I can appreciate that. You got the super kicks. That's cool and all. I can appreciate that. You got the emote off, the yeets. That's cool. I can appreciate that. But you're not gonna win the Royal Rumble. We're not wasting a Royal Rumble on Jey Uso. That's what we're not gonna do. Another one, Roman Reigns. Don't need to see him win this. He's already won twice, I think. Don't need to see him win a third, especially not at this year's Royal Rumble. I think he's gonna play a big part. I hope The Rock comes out. I hope The Rock returns and he throws Roman over. That's how we feud to WrestleMania. I hope that is the case. Um, so I don't want to see Roman win. I don't necessarily need the trilogy at WrestleMania 41. I could wait for WrestleMania 42 between him and Cody. I don't want to see Roman versus Gunther, not yet, at least. And if I do, Gunther better win. And the last one is John Cena. Don't want to see my boy John Cena win. It'd be too easy. I felt some type of way about when Cody returned and won the shit when he entered at 29 or 30. I don't want him to do that shit with John Cena. You said it best. The chase, the chase is why we love John Cena. I need to see him lose a couple of times. I need to feel the emotion, you know? This is why I'm so adamant on my theory, on my dream booking. Don't have him win the shit up until his last night. Have him drop the belt. Like, just think about it. Think about it. Everyone's expecting him to win this shit this year. And fantastic. I would love to see it. But wouldn't it be better if if we get to the final into the climax? We get to the last night of the year of his tour. Cena hasn't won. He's lost to Gunther. He's lost to Cody. He's lost to whoever. And he's gotten close, but he just can't get over the hump. And this is his last match ever. And they're giving him one more chance. They're giving him the final chance to win the 17th title during his last match ever. The fans are gonna be like, yo, there's no way the motherfucker is gonna win because he's not gonna drop the belt. Other people are gonna say there's no way he's gonna lose. He has to win 17. No one would know. That would be the greatest opportunity to have no idea if it's gonna happen or not. The anxiety around that match would be like none other. That would bring in the most views on any goddamn pay-per-view this entire year. I don't care how it makes the belt look the next day if he drops it. I don't give a fuck. But John Cena is the one person who could drop the belt the next day and not have it lose as much value as anyone else if they were to drop the belt. And that is why I don't want him to win the Royal Rumble. I don't want him to win at all. Anything for months. Just
Really?
lose. Yes, I'm telling you, that is my dream. My dream year is just that moment. That is the that literally the last time is now. That's the whole shtick. The last time is now. That last match, that's gonna be the last time, and he's gonna have to win it then, and it's gonna be great. But I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. Anyways, that's the four motherfuckers I don't want to see win: Roman, John Cena, Jey Uso, um, and fucking Damian Priest. That's it. And I'll be cool. I'll be cool. I wouldn't. I may be upset about some other people winning, but as long as they don't win, then I'll be happy. This would be a successful Royal Rumble for me. Moving into the match a little bit in terms of individuals who are going to have strong outings. Royal Rumble's always fun because we get the Io Skies of the world, or the Baileys who lasted more than 50 minutes, Rey Mysterio lasting more than an hour. We get these stories in the match itself of these Iron Men and these Iron Women. Who do you want to see have a strong outing? Who do you want to see eliminate multiple people on both the men's and the women's side?
Well, on both. I didn't. I guess I didn't look for one on the women's, but for my men's one, I think it's obvious. I think the person that needs to continue have strong outings, and that this it could benefit from this match and having a strong outing in it is Jacob Fatu. Keep having him be that monster that he is, and he is believable at throwing multiple opponents back to back in that ring during this match. So why wouldn't you want to just have Jacob Fatu show out? And I'll get to it when we get down the list on our questions for tonight, but I feel like he should also have a moment with someone else where they're just throwing people out or fighting people in mass, and they're just showing how strong these two people are. But honestly, yeah, I think Jacob should be the male superstar that shows out the most. For the female, I think it kind of has to be Charlotte. She's returning. This is going to be her first time in the ring since we've seen her since her injury. So I think to build her up in a way so that it's not obvious that they're just gonna throw a title on her. I think she just has a good showing in this. She gets thrown out, and then we see where she goes from there. But for the females, I think that person definitely has to be Charlotte. She has to come back, and she has to look strong.
I hear you on the Jacob Fatu front. I would love to see him have a strong outing. I do want him to eliminate a few folks. I don't know the record for most eliminations in the Royal Rumble match, but if he gets close to it, I wouldn't be mad at it. I'd love to see Penta have a strong outing as well. As I mentioned earlier, we remember way back when Rey Mysterio lasted, I believe, an hour in the Royal Rumble match himself. Something similar to that with the Luchador would be dope to see. Great way to pay homage to Rey Mysterio as well. As we know, he's winding down the latter half of his career. But yeah, Penta and Jacob Fatu for me would be two guys I would love to see have a strong outing. Braun Breaker has not announced that he's going to be entering the Royal Rumble. I know Lyra Valkyria is the women's Intercontinental Champion, and she's going to be entering the Royal Rumble. So not sure if the same stands for Breaker. But if he enters this match, I would love to see him eliminate at least like six motherfuckers. I'd love to see him eliminate Jacob Fatu. That would be sick. Um, but anyways, on the women's side, in terms of dark horses, in terms of someone who I want to see have a strong outing, I'm a big fan. She just won the Intercontinental Championship, but I'd love to see Lyra Valkyria continue her dominance, continue to gain and garner some more attention from fans in Indianapolis. I'd love to see her have a strong outing as well. Charlotte, you know they're gonna give her like 5 or 6 motherfuckers to eliminate. They love them some Charlotte Flair, unless she comes out at like 30. But I hope she doesn't. But I would say Lyra Valkyria. I would love to see her have a strong outing here. Um, and then Ivy now would be another one, another interesting one that you brought her up. I do think her making a strong case for American Made would be sick as well. She's been getting a little bit more TV and promo time. So, as you had mentioned it earlier, I think those two women would be great to have and would be believable to have some strong outings at this year's Royal Rumble. And I know you were hinting at it already. In terms of interactions that you want to see, what are just some interactions in the ring, some happenings that you're going to be looking for, that you're excited about, some dream bookings that you have that you want to see take place at this year's Royal Rumble?
I have two. I wouldn't say the dream bookings. I think there's a good possibility that these can happen, or at least one of them can happen. The other one's kind of a toss up. But my first one would be I think Joe Hendry needs to be face to face with John Cena during the Rumble. I know that he has said that he wants the match against Cena, and you're severely against that. I think I'm against that for now.
Bro.
But I think that if they give us the tease of them just facing off, to a match that will never be. I think that that's fine. I think as long as I get to see these two kind of just have their moment in the ring, that'll be perfectly fine. I don't need a match between them. For the second one, I mentioned it earlier, but I'll say it like this. I think Jacob needs to throw out at least 10 people. I feel like that's a good number for him to like stop at or whatever. If they want to keep going, that's fine too. But I think 10 people. If they don't want to do 10 people, have him and Breaker just face each other in the ring and then look around to all the superstars that are there and maybe toss five out each and then have them just face each other for a while. I think that would be sick. And it gives us something to look forward to in the future because we know that these two will come head to head at some point. It's almost inevitable with the build that these two carry. They have the perfect build to match each other and the hype to back it up. So I think we'll eventually get this. And I think this will be a sick moment to have in the ring during the
I can't agree with you more on Jacob Fatu and Braun Breaker. You took it
Rumble.
right out of my playbook. I would love to see them two face each other. We've already seen a tease on Monday Night Raw a few weeks ago, but having them in the same match at the same time, I would love it if they decide to tee off in the middle of the ring as well. That would be great for television. There, we know we're gonna get a match between those two individuals later on in the future. Those are future world champions in the WWE, so I'd love to see that tease there. Randy Orton and John Cena. I hope we get a Randy Orton return, and we get the inevitable face off there. Both of these guys are now faces in the eyes of the fans. They're good guys, but I would love to see them score off one more time, and it's a perfect opportunity for them to, for us to relive some history, some childhood fanfare. Randy Orton and John Cena. Um, I hope we get Rock, Jacob Fatu, and Roman Reigns in the match at the same time. That is an interaction that I'm looking forward to seeing, if at all, if we even get The Rock. And we've already got Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns interaction, but I would like to see them tee off again here as well. And I'm just looking forward to seeing all the spider web come together. Seth Rollins, Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and I'm forgetting some names here in the match at the same time because we know we're gonna get that. We know we're gonna get all the majority of the War Games folks, CM Punk, all in the match at the same time, conflicted, and that moment, that heat of the battle right there is gonna be fun and I can't wait for that. I want to see what comes out of it. So many, as Roman said, the motherfucker is like just the nucleus. It all revolves around him. And so looking forward to seeing how that plays out there. But all in all, the one interaction I hope to see at the end of the night is the way we get to the match that we've all been hoping for. Uh, the Rock eliminating Roman Reigns. That is the big one, and that is the one that I hope we see as fans. Do you think The Rock will be making his return at this year's Royal Rumble, or do you think I'm just out here dreaming?
I mean, you threw out a interesting concept a couple weeks ago. I think you and your friend Will came up with it. The 31 spot. I think that's a good possibility, just because we do already have 15 stacked competitors in there, and I would imagine that we're going to save the other 15 as surprises, either from TNA, NXT, or just returns like we had mentioned before. So I think there's a good chance that he uses his power and he puts himself in that 31 position. I think he'll do it just to eliminate Roman. I don't think that he wants to win the Rumble himself. He might even just fucking walk out after that. Who the fuck knows? But I think that there's a strong chance that he does show up at the Rumble this
Him eliminating Roman and just walking out would be cold. That would be cold. I would love that. That would be sick. And someone else winning, I wouldn't be mad at it. I would not be mad at it at all. That's actually a great idea. Um, and then in terms of the last three or four opponents that you want to see stare at each other with the anxiety of knowing that one of them, only one of the four, is going to be standing in the middle of this ring pointing towards the WrestleMania sign. Who are your final four opponents in the Royal Rumble match?
weekend. That's a tough one. I would have to say Drew's definitely in there. I would say Punk's definitely in there. Going with your theory about Penta maybe giving off this great showing and almost an homage to Rey Mysterio, I think that Penta could be one of the four. As for the fourth one, I don't know, and that's just because, like we said, we don't know if The Rock showing up. There's a good chance he will. There's a good chance he won't. And there's a couple other matches there too that we just don't know the outcome. There's a good chance that maybe Sammy's the fourth, like you said, but it all depends on where the other matches lie. So I would say in the four, if I had to pick right now, Sammy, Drew, Penta, and CM Punk. What are your picks?
I have Drew McIntyre,
Okay.
CM Punk,
Okay.
John Cena, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, John Cena. And it's between Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn.
It's
I
the
think they're gonna
factors we
have.
don't know.
Yeah, it's. I think it would be between Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn, but I'm definitely sure about my other three. I'm definitely sure about CM Punk, John Cena, and Drew McIntyre. I think those three are the top three that are gonna win, or sorry, that are gonna be there at the end of the match.
Hmm.
Um, those are my three. Those are definitely my three. And I think it comes down to the last question. I think it comes down to the final question. Um, who would you bet the house on winning this year's Royal Rumble? If you had to do it, if you had to put the mortgage, who would it be placed on?
Do you want both or just the men's?
I want both.
Okay, so
Pause.
for the for the
Crazy.
men's, I think I'm gonna stick with Drew. I think all this losing can't be for nothing. I think that they do have a plan, and like I said, I think Drew is just paying his dues until they have the plan ready for him and they finally do something with him. And I think that this might be finally the time to do something with him. And he has been on this rampage with KO about stopping Reigns, so he might just complete his mission here and stop Reigns from winning the Rumble. So I have to go with Drew on the male. For the females, I'm a little biased. I really just want to see Io with gold. I think it's time for her to shine. Let her cut those promos in Japanese, with the subtitles. Just let her be this complete menace, almost to the extent that we had Oscar down in NXT, where she just didn't give up that belt and she had these phenomenal matches. I would be happy with that, but I don't know if that's what WWE wants to do with her right now. So just based off my bias, I say Io wins the female one, and then just off of logic, I think, like I said, Drew can't be losing all this for nothing. There has to be something that they give him at the end, and it might just be the Rumble win. So I think I got Drew on the men's
I I'm there with you, man. I'm there. I want Drew to win. I do want Drew to
side.
win.
But
Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think CM Punk is going to win. I think we're gonna. I think he's gonna win.
I think that's too
Um,
predictable.
but they picked predictable the last couple of years, and I think they're gonna continue to play that role. I think CM Punk wins here.
Even with the new
I will.
era, even with the changes in management, you
Yes.
think, yeah, okay, all
Yeah.
right,
I don't think it matters. No, I think this is he wants his main event.
okay.
He's made his point, and I think this is the perfect opportunity to give him his main event. And we'll see what that turns into. We saw the promo that went off between him and Cody this last week on Monday Night Raw. Very interesting stuff. He already made his claim. He let him know, I'm coming for the title. I'm winning this year's Royal Rumble, and I'm coming for your title. And Cody's prepared. He's ready. He wants to know who he's going to be facing at WrestleMania. But CM Punk also might not. I don't know. He's been teasing Gunther as well, but it seems like he's focusing on Cody now. Um, so I do think the safe bet, if I had to bet the mortgage, I would have to bet it on CM Punk. But I would love to see Drew McIntyre win. I just don't know where he would fit into the main title picture at WrestleMania. It would be a phenomenal match between Gunther. It would be. I would have no problem with it. But just because Gunther hasn't really interacted with Drew much on television, Gunther's been more focused on the Seth Rollins of the world. He wants to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, or as well as Logan Paul, as he mentioned before. He wants to slap him or slap the taste out of his mouth. So I haven't seen enough interactions between Drew McIntyre and Gunther, or Drew McIntyre and Cody, really, for me to justify him winning the belt and main eventing WrestleMania, at least where we're at in the current storyline. Unfortunately for him, because I do love Drew and he's been killing it. And I would love to see him win it, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think CM Punk wins it. He's a safe bet here. In terms of the women's side, safe bet again. Unfortunately, they love this woman, and I don't think they're doing all this for her to lose. I think Charlotte Flair is coming back and winning this fucking Rumble,
No,
and she's
no.
going to go face Tiffany Stratton for the championship. Um, I think that's the case here. And listen, I hear you. I'd love to see Io Sky win and have her go up against Rhea Ripley. Um, but I can see Io Sky winning the Elimination Chamber. I think that would fit more into her style. Uh, at least for a large victory at a pay per view, I could see her thriving at the Elimination Chamber this year and winning that, and that being the way she main events against Rhea Ripley. Because remember, this isn't the end all be all. So I can see Charlotte Flair winning here, especially with her coming back from an injury. I feel like it's way safer for her to win the Rumble than to win in the Elimination Chamber coming off an injury. That's all I'm saying. So with the logical points, I'm gonna pick Charlotte Flair. I'm gonna pick CM Punk. You pick Drew McIntyre and Io Sky. We're gonna have to wait and see. 1 out of 30, we're gonna have to see. If I'm money, that'd be crazy. At least let me go 1 for 2. At least let me go 1 for 2. I'll take 50%. The rest of the match card, besides the men's and the women's Royal Rumble, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. We touched upon that. You are picking Cody Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to sit here. I'm going to sit here on January 30th and go out on a limb. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to change my mind about what I said earlier. I'm going to say Kevin Owens is going to win this match. That's what I'm going to
That's
stick with.
wild.
I'm going to live with my decision. That is my decision. I'm going to live with it. And the final match that has been announced at this year's Royal Rumble is DIY, our current SmackDown Tag Team Champions, versus the Motor City Machine Guns in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Who do you think is going to win this match here? Who do you want to see win this one?
I mean, I think it'd be stupid to take it off of DIY right now, especially because they have gone heel and there's something to tell there. So I really hope that this isn't just going to be squandered and we just put the belts back on Motor City Machine Guns right away. I do think that there is a story to kind of tell though, just because they did take the belts off of them and it would just keep the feud going. But I think the correct move here is just to keep them on DIY. It's something like in the same aspect that you said for Sammy and KO, these guys have been working with each other since they were fucking kids. You know, there's no one better to work with than these two with each other. And eventually, I do feel like we'll head down the road where we see these two break up again and feud with each other again, and we'll know that that's going to be a killer match. But for now, I think the safe bet is to keep the belt on them and keep building towards that eventual turn on him. I don't think the turn now would be as impactful as it would be later on down the road. We have seen Champa kind of at his wits end with Gargano at times, but I don't think it's to the breaking point we've seen it before. So in this match, 2 out of 3 falls. I think it'll be a close one, but I think DIY walks away with the belts.
Yeah, I think you made all the right points. I don't think they're going to have them lose, especially after just winning the belts themselves. Their heels, we finally have a reason to care about the story that they have going on. Their Motor City Machine Guns have been putting on great matches on Friday Night SmackDown. So I'm excited that we're finally getting a tag match on a pay per view. It's a 2 out of 3 falls match, so it's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a long one. Pause. Yo, that was crazy what I just said. Anyways, it's gonna be a fun match that I'm looking forward to, and I also have DIY winning here. This last week, the Viking Raiders, the War Raiders, I apologize, they're known as the War Raiders. The War Raiders faced JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio in a tag match on Monday Night Raw. That was one of the better of the tag matches that I've seen in a very long time on television. And so I am excited to see how DIY and Motor City Machine Guns follow up their own championship match as well in a pay per view setting. It's going to be a good match. I'm looking forward to it. DIY should win here, unfortunately, for Motor City Machine Guns. But with that being said, that puts a bow on this episode of the Word Around the Ring podcast. We are going to be excited to bring you the Royal Rumble review. We'll see what happens this weekend, what surprises we get, who makes their return, who comes back from injuries, who debuts in the WWE. It's going to be a very exciting weekend. We hope you guys enjoy the pay per view. With that, that is my final word. King Jess, take it away.
Like you said, that brings us to the end of this week's show. I'd like to thank everyone and anyone who's listening for giving us a chance. I hope you enjoyed the show and come back next week for more. Like always, a like, a comment, a follow goes a long way. It shows us that y'all are still rocking with us. Again, no question this week, but leave us your predictions for the show this weekend and tag us in your drinking prediction posts after each win or loss. Did you get the Rumble winner right? Were you off by a couple numbers? Let us know. We might feature you on next week's episode. Till then, if you're wondering to yourself what in the hell happened, then there's just one answer for you. Evolution has passed you by. See you next week.